We are on the last episode of the anime Pet Shop of Horrors, episode 4, and this one's called Duel. Now, this one is taken from volume 9 of the manga. There were only 10 volumes in total, so second to last one, as opposed to the previous 3 stories, which were all taken from volume 1 and 2. So it does have a bit of a different feel. They've also rebooted the series a few times after the original run, because it was so popular. But right away you will notice that they are breaking the mold from the previous 3 episodes. Usually someone would have something tragic happen, usually someone that they cared about would die, they would go into the pet shop, they would find a reincarnation of this person, and take them home, and then something bad would happen. That's actually not what happens here. This goes for more of a political thriller. I don't think it quite pulls it off, but it does make sense for the very last episode to just do something completely different. It consists of an imperfect politician, Roger Stanford, who is very young and good looking, but also likes partying a little too much, and people aren't sure that his career is going to take off the way that it should. He's kept together by his assistant, Kelly Vincent, who is the more mature of these two people. And when they enter this pet shop, they're offered something called a Kirin, which looks very much like a little geisha girl. And the pet, quote-unquote, that this is supposed to be is a blazing unicorn.
Wait just a minute, Mr. President.
Huh?
Mr. Stanford, being elected congressman is just a start. From there, it will be a small step to senator, then governor, then the youngest president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, you, the bad apple of the family. Just imagine, heads of state will look to you for advice. And all that will happen with the help of the Kirin herself. It is she who has the power to make you or break you, Mr. President. Because of the Kirin, all your dreams will be realized. Your dreams will come true. I will see you again very soon. Only 2 elections from now, my friend. Now, if you will just sign this contract, our arrangement will be complete. I'm willing to wait for my payment until you become president. Only 2 elections from now. Farewell.
Wow, this was fairly easy compared to how the Count usually does it. He usually gives these 3 stipulations. Can't freaking feed it after 2 a.m. You have to pet its head every 4 seconds. Can't let anyone see it. You gotta make sure to change its water if it's a mermaid. Oh, all these insane things. Here, he just kind of gives them the Kirin. He knows they're gonna fail anyway, so why even put any stipulations? And Count D talks about how this Kirin has helped, quote-unquote, people over the years.
Have made contracts with the Kirin. A communist trying to free his country from colonial rule. He waged a war which cost the lives of half his people, sacrificing 1/3 of his land. A nationalist trying to save his defeated country from the grips of poverty ended up massacring millions of others. And a president wishing to end the war ended up pushing the button, detonating a new weapon and turning the world into a living hell.
I'm not sure the first 2 people he's talking about. You might think it's Stalin and Hitler, but I actually think he's talking about some other people. However, this is a Japanese series, so if you think they're going to support the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, no, they'll throw that in there. This is the first episode to feature an actual action scene as they're driving back to their house with this Kirin in the back. There's a bus of school children that's swaying back and forth in the road, and they find that the driver has had his acceleration pedal somehow forcibly forced down and his brakes not working. So they try to save these people. And while I'm not sure if this is a reference to the Steven Spielberg movie Duel, this episode is also called Duel, and it features a little bit of a duel scene. But this causes the politician and his assistant to veer off the road and almost die. See, this Kirin, very much like a genie, can grant wishes, but it grants wishes off the misfortune of others.
Just hold on. Hold her steady.
Kirin.
What is your wish?
My wish?
What do you wish for? Wealth, fame, power? Just name it.
I wish is for Roger to become president.
So it seems like Roger is going to be president after all. He saved the kids from the bus crash, and his assistant sacrificed his own life and used his one wish not to save himself, but to actually give the presidency to Roger. And this Kieran granted the wish. I like the style of the previous ones before, since this one tries to be more of a political thriller. It just feels a little more out of place. I do like the additional action scene. That was surprising to see in an OVA series that up until this point has been pretty rudimentary when it comes to animation or anything moving too fast. And I think a decent way to end this series. I really wish they had adapted more, though. It is crazy that as popular as this series was and got several manga revisions after this, we only get 4 episodes. And they choose one from volume 9 towards the end. So a couple from the beginning, and then last one, volume 9. So it just feels a lot different. If we look at the manga version of this, the motivations of the characters are a lot more clear. They just have way more emotion. So Roger is a lot more power hungry than he is in the anime, and he's actually the one that keeps approaching this pet shop to sell him this Kieran because he wants to use its power to be president one day. Supposed to in the anime, they just sort of reluctantly take it. They don't really understand it. They don't really believe in its power. And Count D is once again tricking them. In the manga, Count D is a lot more neutral. He's more of a gray character rather than just being the evil guy who always sells people things that leads to their demise. Here he's reluctant to give him the Kieran, but this guy keeps begging and begging and begging and begging. And there's even some stories in the manga where the characters don't just die at the end, where actually good things come out of this pet shop of horrors. So I think having this gray version of Count D is a lot better and actually fits the aesthetic of him a lot more. Being this soft-spoken man who's just trying to help people, but also I'm a little devious. Well, that's it for Pet Shop of Horrors. If I had to rank these quickly, I would say episode 2 with the mermaid is the best. Then episode 1, then episode 3, then this one last. But they're all really good and worth watching. Thanks a lot. Check out our playlist for all episodes of Fear Itself, Monsters, Black Mirror, Cowboy Bebop, and now Pet Shop of Horrors.